afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Beecham, and we made it to episode 100 of the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong.
One honey. 100. Am I doing it the right order? Because
Sure.
I have to do it opposite way. 100. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It has been an amazingly long day. We just did 4 hours of live coverage of the Apple event. But guess what? We got to show love for Extra Crunchy, Extra Munchy. This is our podcast made in audio format, but we do stream it live to really get you and guys and gals all to be a part of the show. We had people, amazingly enough, because you show love, call in and leave your comments on our voicemail system, which is now empty because we cleaned it. The number is 1-800-616-2638. There's still plenty of time to call and give us your impressions of what you thought about the keynote. Maybe a product you really liked that stood out for you, a product that you didn't. But this is where we talk about it all. We just finished the keynote. My brain is like mush, but there is still so much to talk about. So I think, what do you think would be the number one thing on people's minds, Mr. Beecham?
The iPhone X.
Wait,
what's it all about?
It wasn't AirPower?
AirPower.
That wasn't the number one thing we want to talk about?
AirPower.
All right, AirPower is their charging pad that will be coming out. I believe they said, did they say and it would come out next year?
It's coming out next year, which is kind of weird. You know, it's like feels like it should launch with the product the main product
that does wireless charging. You would think that would be the case, but it's not the case.
And no solid date. We didn't get a solid date on that one either. I don't think. They just said 2018.
We did not. So this show, we're not going to go into, I guess we'll cover some of the nitty gritty, but look, most of you that follow along with the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy are so deep ingrained into what has been going on. We did an episode about all the rumors that happened with a leak right before the keynote. Literally like 90 to 95% of what we found out from the leaks happened in the keynote. So we're going to kind of cover some of the bigger things and things that you might not have seen yet or heard yet. And I do want to talk about when everyone talks about pricing with the new iPhone X. That's like now, after everyone saw the great specs, they saw the screen, they saw the awesome like front-facing sensors, the notch, whether you like it or not, that's fine. The removal of the home button, the OLED screen, wireless charging. It's all there. We have this new amazing processor called they call it the A11 Bionic. They chose not to call it just an A11, but there's a lot of technology in here, specific chips and silicone that Silicone is a different type of implant, if you know what I mean. But silicone that they put chips that they've made specifically for this new iPhone. Really important stuff. So let's talk about this, first of all, the pricing. We know it's starting now. The 64 gig model is starting at $999, okay? $999, that's $999,
64 gigs.
That's not $9.99.
Yeah.
There's only two capacities, 64 gig and 256. That 256 model will be $1,149. Now, I looked into some of the plans and payments, and I don't know if you can walk along with us, Beach, online, but if you go to apple.com and then you go to the iPhone section, there's basically, and you guys can all do this if you want to, just click on the iPhone X, and then you can, sorry, I've been talking so long. Then you can say,
it's when
models and pricing. So what you want to do is click on that button over there in the top corner.
Models and pricing, got it.
And then you can go through this flow chart of how much this phone is going to cost. I kind of want to walk you, stay up there top, okay?
Okay, got it.
And click that blue button.
Select.
People listening, yeah, you want to hit select. So, Beecham, I'm going to tell people, let's just select an AT&T phone at 64 gigs with a black finish, and it gives you a breakdown of the pricing. The good thing to note, 64 gigs, click.
Yeah. Got it.
So the good thing to note here, as you do this breakdown on pricing, if you buy the phone up front for just on its own, it will be $999. Now, if you buy it through the AT&T enrollment plan, it's basically you spread out the costs over 24 months. If you add up that total, you're actually paying $999.12. So for the actual product over the life of that. So that's actually not that bad.
That's not too bad.
They offer an Apple iPhone upgrade package where basically you lock into their every year you can upgrade your phone. The good thing about that, it will definitely cost you more money, but it includes the Apple Care as part of it.
Oh,
Now
that is great. That is a good deal.
Now here's the catch, though. Here's the catch that I have to bring up for everyone. If you buy the phone standalone, or you buy it through the carrier in installment payments, where you are still paying just $9.99, you still, if you want to, and I buy Apple Care on all of my products, you still have to pay for that. In the US, Apple Care, from what we've seen on different carrier plans, is going to be $199 in addition to that. So we're talking about really a $1,200 phone before tax, and now we're talking about something closer to a $1,400 phone at the entry level 64 gig capacity. That's
a big chunk
pretty
of cheese,
daunting.
man. Yeah,
that's
it
pretty
is.
daunting.
So definitely the Apple iPhone upgrade program is the way to go. But you're spreading that out over a long period of time, which is fine. And there's no interest. There's no interest on that, right?
There's no interest. Let me do the calculation really quick. So what they do is they break it down by $49.91 by 24 months, and it's basically you get like a $2 discount. It includes the price of the Apple Care protection. So that's if you go for the upgrade program. So there's nothing, at least here, where you're paying extra just by spreading it over those 24 months. It is direct, but I just want to give people a realistic look at how much this costs. So if we're talking about let's say you want to go large, because 64 gig on a phone like this,
you need a bigger one.
You need more than 64.
256.
You need, and they're not giving you a 128.
No.
They could have started at 128. We know they could have.
Yeah.
We know they could have, but they went with 256. That's going to be $1,350 starting before tax. Let me see what that is. Calculates that out to times. Let's see. What are we at? Are we at eight and a quarter or something?
Something like 7.5 maybe is what that.
I'm just gonna put.
Taxes?
I'm gonna be like generic, and I'm gonna put in 8 1/4. I think it's actually 8 3/4 here in California. You're talking about a phone that is $1,461.
Wow.
After roughly, it'll probably be a little more after tax if you want the iPhone X and you want to go large. So that's a little more than $10 per month.
Yeah.
If you spread it out over those costs. I'm just curious what people think. Like how much are they willing to do this? I thought the phone, from a standpoint of the technology, yes, we've seen it in other phones like the OLED screen. I think the facial recognition is ridiculously advanced compared to what we've seen from any other phone right now. It's not just iris scanning. It has a depth sensor. It basically hits your face with 30,000 dots, and then as you move it around, it builds this model of your face. It can detect the difference between you and an evil twin. We just have to see how responsive it is. Apple, in the demo room, only Apple handlers were using the phone. We didn't get to see how responsive it really, really is, and that might be tweaked over time. We'll see. And again, one of the things that we mentioned during the keynote is that we brought up is they did not show us a comparison of how much faster it is versus Touch ID, right? Everyone wants to know how fast it performs.
Yeah.
A lot of times Apple brags it's twice as fast, it's 3 times as fast. When Touch ID first came out, they had the next generation of it and they said, hey, it's twice as fast as previous Touch ID. And then it basically became like instantaneous almost. They didn't give us anything. It's the same speed as Touch ID. They never said that. So that tells me it's not. Mm-hmm. And they never said that it was faster, because a lot of times with Apple, the devil's is in the details of what they don't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I can picture Tim Cook saying, "You're going to unlock this phone faster than ever before," something like that. And he didn't say anything like that I recall.
He did not say anything like that.
But we did see a lot of Animoji demos. So, I mean, right now it's even playing on the screen. But that seems like to be like the big thing everyone's playing with.
Well, that's what I find, and we touched upon this, that's what I find frustrating is that, look, I know they're trying to sell this to a general audience. It reminds me of last year when they introduced iOS 10. They focused so much on iMessage. Like that, it literally took up, I think during the course of the keynote, while other features were given maybe like a mention or a blurb, the iMessage demo took up something like 15 or 20 minutes. I remember timing it. Well, here the Animojis demo took up, if you had to break up what time was spent on what, I think Animojis as a segment probably was featured the longest out of the entire keynote.
Yeah, it felt like 20 to 30 minutes.
And
or so.
this is my 2 cents. I get it. You've got to show off these features. People are going to be playing with them in the stores. But show us talk more about the tech. They talked about the different types of processors they're using, dedicated processors specifically for Face ID, specifically improvements in the GPU, specific to the portrait lighting, all of these things. But they barely talked about Bluetooth 5.0 fine. Do you think everyone knows about all the advantages, the range and the higher fidelity and better quality and better throughput of Bluetooth 5.0? No, but they just put it on the check mark as a list. So that's where I feel like, come on, guys, like, you're a tech company. There's a lot of people that want to know more about that than they want to know about Animojis. And again, I will give props because I will use Animojis.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to use them. Like, that's out of the question. I'm totally going to use that stuff.
Do you do like Snapchat and like Instagram face filters all the time? Because it's basically the same thing almost.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I don't use Snapchat is because it takes me out of enjoying normal life moments.
Totally. Like, exactly.
I'm old school like that. I think there's a point where you can either, and there's some young people that don't do it, but why is Snapchat so popular? It's everyone like documenting all these moments of their life. Like, I'm not a person that holds my phone up to capture everything to show people that aren't even there. I hate that.
Yeah.
It totally takes me out. Like, there's moments where Snapchat I feel like is appropriate, fine, take a Snapchat of your food. But if I'm enjoying like this amazing stuff, like, why do I have to share all these moments with the world? Like, why? Why can't I just enjoy it for myself once in a while?
Yeah.
And I think that's a different psychology. I get it. People want to be brands. Like, that's how things have evolved. Like, oh, your life is a brand. We've kind of learned that you don't have to have an actual talent to be famous anymore.
True.
Like, that's how that psychology has changed, right?
Yeah.
You can be hot and you can be and know nothing, but if you're hot and you show yourself a lot and tell everyone what your life is all about because you want us to believe that your life is the greatest thing ever, that is a different, I don't call that fame, but it's a different definition of what fame used to be. Like, we used to literally have like people that were talented that we'd want to follow. It's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
So that has changed as well. I'm just going on my old man rant. I'm not old, but it's a different psychology. So
yeah, it's a new generation of people, and they're everyone, they seem to always be having fun with their phones. So they're trying to make something that's fun that everyone can play with. It's like it's a toy. Like, here's the toy features that we have now.
I'm just saying, where are your Snapchat followers when ish goes down and you're down in the dumps? Like, who are the people that are really around you? That stuff just doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
But they're great tools. They're fun. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Okay. I'm gonna get off my rocker chair. I did find one thing that everyone is kind of talking about, and we didn't get to watch the keynote live because we're kind of like doing everything all at once. But I did see it. Did any of you notice there was kind of a mess up where Craig Federighi, before he did his Animojis demo, there was kind of a slip up?
Yeah, people, our CNET team was talking about it. Yeah, his screen didn't lock for a second.
On the swipe, and right, we're talking about all these gestures. We saw it in another instance in the demo room when we were showing off someone demoing that. They were trying to show the animation of swiping up, and you're supposed to hold your finger on the screen to show all your apps that are open. This person was doing it 3 or 4 times until it actually worked.
Did it really take that many times?
She was like, swipe. And she kept on swiping. I'm like, what is she trying to do? And then finally, you realize she was trying to show all the apps that are open.
Was that in the demo room or during the actual keynote?
In the demo room, but not during the keynote.
I did see that during the demo
room,
yeah.
So we saw 2 instances where the screen itself with these new gestures, because the home button doesn't exist, may not be as 100% reliable as a Touch ID button. Again, remains to be seen. They can probably tweak that, but clearly it's not the same. I mean, when I hold this up and I push it, there's a response.
Yeah, it comes on. Like, what I saw her do was she held it for a minute, and she actually like had to hold it for an extra couple seconds, and then you could see that it registered, and then she was able to swipe it up. So yeah, I did totally see that when it happened.
So these are things that are going to happen. I mean, you've got it. You want to embrace new technology, it's going to come with some bumps in the road.
Yeah.
The other thing, I'm really curious though how the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to fare in all this, because I think the pricing, when you just start stacking it up, the pricing of the iPhone X is actually, when you put everything together, is actually pretty high. Like, people will be spending actually $1,000 for their iPhone 8 as well. It's not just after taxes and fees. Look, the iPhone 8 starts at $799.
Well, after listening to your breakdown of the pricing, like I'm definitely on board with getting the upgrade program. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like such a better deal. You know, you are going to have a $50 payment on top of your monthly phone bill as well. But in the long run, you're still going to save a few, probably $200 or $300. You know, so I'm a fan of it now.
Wait. How are you going to save $200, $300?
Well, if you're doing the payment plan, you're paying $50 a month plus your phone, your AT&T bill or whatever you have. But when you're not including the Apple Care coverage, you're not including all the other stuff that comes with the more expensive phone, then it is a better deal, you know.
Well, the price there is as if you bought Apple Care on top of it. It's just spreading it out over 24 months.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was like included.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, you're right. It is included, but the price is adjusted to include.
It's included with your monthly payment.
Yeah.
I see.
So, if you look at the two, there's like what's the difference in price? Like an $8 differential?
Yeah.
One of those does not include Apple Care. The other one that's higher priced, that is part of the iPhone upgrade program, includes Apple Care. And so the cost is actually literally just the same. So you're not saving anything.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I just wanted to look out for you. I didn't want you to get all like, dude, I saved $300 and you buy the thing. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, I thought like Apple Care was included, so I got excited. I'm like, oh, well, that's better.
So the iPhone 8, right? It has kind of the glass backing. It has a new processor as well. It's not going to have all the extensive bells and whistles, but I look at that iPhone 8 and I think that's going to be the top seller.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that is. They're still keeping the iPhone 7 in the mix as well. The iPhone 6 is still going to be available, and the iPhone, I believe the SE started at $349. I don't have the graph of everything that was laid out in front of us, but Apple, although you might say, dude, I don't want a $1,000 phone, the power of the ecosystem is going to keep you in there, and Apple has really a phone at every price point for every person now, ranging from $300 all the way to $1,000 before tax. And that's really where their brain is at. They just want to get you and keep you, which they will, because of this app called iMessage.
Cool.
Which we've talked about. So we have that stuff. We're going to jump over to the Apple Watch. I think in a weird way, not a weird way, but the Apple Watch was one of those, they put it first, but I think it has the potential to be, let's not overblow this when I use this word, the most transformative device of the entire group, only because it is now giving us an iOS device that fits on our wrist, that has a cell connection, that has an actual data connection, where we no longer need to use our phones. When you watch the whole presentation, the demo, again, you won't be able to do nearly as much on your watch as you do on your phone, but in a weird way, I think there's going to be moments where I want to be connected, but I don't want to have to bring my phone around this. And it's not even just working out or being active on the go. Like maybe you want to go out for a night and you don't want to have this like huge phone or this thing that takes you out of these moments, right? So look, our phone is our camera. It's most likely going to be with us, but I kind of like the idea of just taking your watch and having nothing else and pretty much still being in communication with everyone you need to be in communication with.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're just going on like some quick errand or something, even like a jog or something real simple, a movie or something, just take your watch. Don't have to worry about your phone. But that, definitely people are going to miss the screen. You're going to miss your large screen, I'm sure. If there are people who decide to go, I'm just going to go watch, no phone at all.
I think
they're probably going to end up missing their screen.
I think there's people that are going to lose their what because they're just, when you don't have your wallet or you don't have your phone on you and you kind of freak out.
Yeah.
We've been accustomed to this behavior of having them with us all the time. You're going to freak out. You're going to freak out. I'm serious.
Yeah.
People are going to freak out. So I like the Apple Watch. I should talk about these release dates, but everyone kind of knows them. So we're just talking about the products in general right now and not getting to the nitty gritty. One of the questions was, how much will the data plan be for the watch? Now, I did some hunting around. It's still early. It's literally hours after the keynote. I didn't see anything outright, but one of our watchers and listeners from the Apple Byte Nation did say they checked in with AT&T and they were told that the pricing for a data plan, at least for the Apple Watch, that it would be a complimentary piece to your phone. This is not official because we haven't seen AT&T put it out or print it out, but we were told that it would be $10 for 1 gig of data to your Apple Watch, or an additional $22 if you wanted to do unlimited data for another device. We know that like there's people that put multiple devices on multiple plans, and I don't know if that lines up exactly the same, like $10 more per device. It's not really a family plan. This is going to be a separate device add-on, but $10 for 1 gig of data for the watch, I could dig it. That's not that bad.
I'll go through that 1 gig
But are you doing the same stuff on your watch that you're doing on your phone though?
I don't know if I'm going to stream like Sirius Radio or something, or stuff like that. Then possibly
streaming music would probably be the number one biggest hit on the Apple Watch, like from a data standpoint.
22. So 22 for the data plan, and then how does we don't know anything how the carrier, like the phone minutes and that stuff work, right?
Yeah, they did not say that. I've got to imagine I think it'll just link, since it's linked to your same phone number, I think it'll just use the same minutes pool.
That's what I'm hoping, yeah.
Just there's this like number sync program that AT&T has that allows you to put your number on multiple devices. T-Mobile has a similar program as well that allows that same existing phone number to exist on other devices. And from what I gather when I read it, you weren't getting charged for additional minutes.
That's good.
So it'll be an extension of your phone, which is exactly what you want, and then you'll be able to have a little data on it as well.
I wish the data was together with your phone plan too. Another like $22 you got to pay.
Unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah. There's no such thing as unlimited though.
I think on this watch, I think a 1 gig I could easily be able to do on a watch.
So, yeah.
Because I'm not watching videos on it. I'm not surfing the net on it. It's just don't send me lots of like animojis, dude. That's where it's gonna add up. All you animoji people are gonna make it difficult for me.
Yeah.
So we have that for most of the products that they announced, other than the iPhones. A pre-order date of September 15th will be for the Apple Watch. It'll also be for the Apple TV 4K, which we'll talk about in a moment. I believe it's also the same for the iPhone 8s as well. And then specifically the iPhone X will be October the 27th will be the pre-order date. That is a Friday. It's also Stan Lee Comic Con in Los Angeles, so you can see me out there too. I'm gonna be there. Cool. We're just gonna go hang out. Nothing official. And then the actual launch date will be November the 3rd for the iPhone X.
November 3rd.
So you've got a ways to save up. That's all I'm saying. You've got time to move your finances around and save up for that bad boy. Like, what are your thoughts, Beach, after seeing everything? I mean, where's your gut at?
My gut is that the iPhone X.
Like, what are you gonna buy? How about this? So your gut is what you would buy, or where are you at?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna buy. When I saw the SE was like $249 or something, $349, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get that for my parents or something, or my sister. But I don't think I'm gonna get the iPhone X, man. I mean, I am in the market for a new phone. My phone's like 2 years old. I would probably be going for, I haven't had the 7 yet, so maybe I could go for the 7. They dropped the price on that. I'd like to play with it, look at the 8, play with it maybe, see if it's like worth it. How does it feel in my hand? How fast is it? There's still a lot of stuff I need to see before I'm going to say I'm going to spend $1,000 or something right now.
I'm just going to ask people that are watching, and maybe you can monitor what people are saying on YouTube and live stream and Periscope. After you saw everything, are you willing to put down for the X? Because the X, the more I watch this, just because, and come on, it has the great features, but it's really almost like to the true hardcore high-end Apple enthusiast.
Yeah, totally,
when you look at the end of the day, around $1,400, $1,500, or whatever it is, roughly, or close to $1,400 if you want to get Apple Care. That's really the true enthusiast that loves the Apple brand, and I mean, I enjoy it, and I'm honestly gonna put down because I have to review, and it's kind of like there's a show I do called the Apple Byte, so I'm kind of like morally, not morally, just like obligated to do it. But yeah, it's a little eye opener when you add it like that.
Here's some reactions from our chat room. Expense account that, bro. I wish.
Not everyone can do that.
Someone says not worth it. Nope. Sticking with Android the master race, which is totally stupid. iPhone X for sure. Yes, I might have to break my contact again, but yeah. I'm buying the X 256 gig, selling my 7 Plus and adding the difference. That's smart. I could do that with my S too.
Yeah.
My 6S, I can sell that and then use half the money to buy.
Get a lot of value on eBay for your phones, quite honestly.
No X, 8 Plus, yes. So yeah, there's a lot of people saying they don't want the X. They don't care about it.
Yeah, here on the Scopers, I mean, you've got a mixed batch of people that are all about the X. I think it's pretty mixed, which is, there's not a predominant yes, absolutely. I think obviously the thing about it you have to consider is the Face ID and the technology in there. We have never seen anything like that in a phone. The actual technology that is used for the Face ID. I'm not talking about the animojis, but just how it scans your face, how it sees your face. I think they were able to tell us a good story of how it works, and then you realize, wow, there's a lot of different things happening here.
Yeah.
It's not just iris scanning, and there's other future implications of this is just scratching the surface of how that technology can be used. Like as the phone grows, as developers get their hands on it, depending on which APIs they give people access to, it's gonna grow. I mean, you might be thinking about what about the next iPhone?
Yeah.
What about
people are already asking that in the chat. They're like,
already,
what's up with the next one? Is it going to cost $2,000? They're worried.
But I think there's a good mix of people saying yes, no, and I'm more than happy with my Android phone. It'll be interesting to see, but if I had to call it right now, I think the number one selling phone of this batch based on pure units would be the iPhone 8.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the chat room is going. They're like excited about the iPhone 8 more than the X. That's what I'm seeing. Really,
it's just there's a point where you're like, dude, I gotta eat.
I know.
There's a point. I gotta eat. I gotta live. Like, come on.
The scanning thing too looks very like 1984.
Well, that was just a
Orwell.
render to show you kind of how it does.
I know, but
that's not what it really looks like.
It could be like a security breach in the future. Like our identities are becoming more like more than passwords now. We're like biometric, like our faces and our fingerprints and stuff. So I don't know, like having your face scanned by Apple, it's weird,
It's the other thing that we didn't really touch upon, wireless charging. Apple, again, when we talk about the devil's in the details, look, wireless charging is cool. I think that most people that even have wireless charging that have had it on Android, most of them will say you don't really charge your phone that often wirelessly because it's not as fast as doing a quick charge. Like most people, like almost, not even most, I'm going to say a majority of people, almost everyone that you talk about wireless charging, it's like, yeah, it's a nice thing to have, but I really don't use it that much. Like, maybe on your nightstand because when you go to sleep, but when you're on the go, when you're at work, when you're in your car, you don't use wireless charging.
That's the only time I'm going to use wireless charging was when I go to bed, really, Unless I have like a few of them. You're going to have like one downstairs, one upstairs, possibly. You're going to have them in different parts of maybe one at the office, So they're betting on people buying more than one of these AirPower. What are they called?
AirPower pads. AirPower pad. I mean, they're just called AirPower. This is like, it looks kind of like, a diaper, depends, and you can drop like 3 devices on it. They showed the AirPods case that you can drop on it, the Apple Watch, and the iPhone. The other thing that maybe I missed this completely, but did they actually bring up any new revised AirPods?
I never saw.
I don't think they did.
They glazed over that big
We
time.
saw it on the AirPower. Maybe someone can correct me, but we know that there were renders and leaked directly from Apple files of a new AirPod case that had the power status on the outside, and I don't recall them bringing up anything about a new AirPod case.
No.
So maybe that is expected to come out when the AirPower pad is available as well, right?
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see anything. People are saying, they skipped the AirPods completely. So
when did they announce the AirPods last year? Was it
announced
in October?
They announced them at like the late September keynote, and they said that they would be available like by the end of October. And then the end of October passed, and they said it'll be a little later. And then they made them actually available for pre-order or to order with a 6-week waiting time, like in early December.
Yeah, because this keynote, I don't know if it was just me or like time was moving real fast, but it felt like short. Like maybe they cut that out because they were short on time or something, or like they weren't sure they're going to have it ready on time like they did last year. So
people are saying that Phil did mention an optional wireless AirPods case.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So we will see. The other thing that I thought that I expected, quite honestly, a little more from was the Apple there's a couple, I guess you could say, disappointments. The Apple TV 4K, right? Yeah. Nice upgrade. I really think it's funny how Apple like explained 4K video and HDR like it was the first time that any of us had ever heard of the technology, because it's like the first time that Apple has ever talked about 4K. Mm-hmm. They're like, TV has evolved from black and white to color to HD and now 4K. Like, I'm like, okay.
You've been on 4K for a little while.
Now 4K, okay. And then there's this new amazing technology called HDR. It's like, come on. Like, fine, the keynote is for the general audience, but I think a good amount of people know at least 4K is better than HD and is out there, and it's not a foreign word to them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're so under this bubble that I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw 4K was at CES like 2015 or something.
It was before that.
Was it before that? 2014?
I feel like it might have been 2000. Yeah. I remember actually seeing a 4K screen from Sony that was a 7-incher that they were selling for like, I believe it was $2,500. As far back, if I had to think back, it might have been 2011, 2012.
Yeah,
it was like way back.
Yeah, that's when we first started hearing 4K, and we're like, "What is that?" Like,
yeah, like, do you need it? And you have to, again, to really get the benefits of it, you have to have basically like a 70-inch screen or higher.
And you got to have the 256 model of the iPhone too, because your storage is gonna fill up real fast.
It's gonna fill up. So the Apple TV gets a new. Gets a new A10 processor, supports 4K video, supports HDR, supports both standards of HDR10 and Dolby Vision. The big thing that we were debating beforehand, they were able to sell 4K versions of movies for the same price as HD movies.
That was awesome.
They made that deal with the studios. In addition, from what you said, Beach, right? If you have a HD version of a movie, they will get upgraded to the 4K version.
That's great.
If it's available on iTunes, that's going to happen. So that was great. But I think the biggest disappointment that I saw from this entire keynote, I thought that they had an opportunity maybe to bring it up more, and maybe they're just going to sit on it. But Siri got no mention. I know it's the iPhone. I know WWDC was supposed to be a moment for Siri, but Siri wasn't a focus at WWDC either. They glossed over it with like 3 or 4 bullet points of how it's getting better. They never showed it in action. They never showed it do more things. They like to tout that it's a more natural sounding Siri, which is true in iOS 11. It sounds more natural, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not like I'm going to use Siri more because of a more natural sounding voice. I'm going to use Siri more because it actually does more for what I need. And so I thought, hey, if Apple TV 4K is going to be a big deal, maybe there's some more new Siri integration. Maybe there's something that connects to the HomePod. The HomePod did not get a single reference at all here. There was not even we're getting closer to the HomePod release date. It's still labeled as December. We'll see if they actually drop it by then or not. Again, we'll wait. I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys suck, you didn't get it out. But we don't know about that yet.
Yeah. Maybe since they have the new Steve Jobs Theater, they're going to do more keynotes or something. And they'll have like a special Siri keynote for itself or something like that.
I love this. Commentary sucks. You guys are Android users.
Ho!
Clearly has watched the show. No iPad news came out of this keynote, so everything stays in line with that. We did see the addition of True Tone displays to the new iPhones, but nothing about, everyone was asking about ProMotion for the 120 hertz refresh rate. No ProMotion from what I saw, unless it's hiding in there in the details on the iPhone screens as well. Cool. So a lot of things. I think. What are your, for you, Beecham, winners, losers of this keynote?
The winners are Apple. Apple is the winner of this keynote. No, I mean the iPhone X looks cool. The new cameras, photographers, videographers.
Yeah,
those are the winners of this keynote, because we're gonna have some amazing video, like the 4K video and the Apple encoder. Like, what is it? Like they built their own encoder to encode video and stuff.
Yep, exactly. Onboard processing.
Yeah, onboard processing. That is going to be the biggest selling point of these phones.
Yeah.
Cameras. I should just call them cameras now.
You might as well.
Supercomputers.
So should we go to some of the voicemails?
Yes. Let's do it, man. Thank you, guys. We got a bunch of voicemails after the keynote, which was really cool.
Yeah, we asked for them and we received them.
Yes. So here we go. Number 1. This is one I'm going to play first. Here we go.
Hey, Mr. Brett. Hi, this is Troy. I I'm a huge fan, and I just wanted to say I'm expecting Tim to come out on the stage and there just be fireworks and just a fireworks show and all that stuff today. I'm so excited. I'm going to be tuning in at noon my time because I'm in Minnesota, and I'm a huge fan, so I hope you guys put on a good show today. It's going to be the 100th episode, so I'm excited. Thanks.
Yeah, there were no fireworks.
Unfortunately, we just want to let you know there were no fireworks.
Yeah.
We wanted to confirm that there were no fireworks.
No.
I mean, there were fireworks. Like, we were excited. I was
this room. There were
we're honestly, the bottom line is our brains are kind of tired from all this.
Yes,
we're like kind of brain fried.
We did a long show this morning, but
that's no excuse. That is no excuse.
We're still breaking it down, man.
There's no excuse.
We're still absorbing, processing all this information.
No excuse.
Okay, next call.
Hey, Beach and Tong. This is your boy Shamar from Atlanta. Just wanted to give some quick points on what I liked and what I didn't like. iPhone X, I thought was a great. iPhone 10.
That's
whatever.
Right.
Overall, I think it's a great upgrade for iPhone users. I think that they did a good job as far as honoring the anniversary and the 10 years of the iPhone. The feature I loved the most, the product I liked the most was the Apple TV 4K, which they did this upgrade for the last generation. And I love the fact that they're updating all the HD content to 4K for free. Apple Watch was pretty much kind of a meh. I'm happy they have cellular. I wish I would have waited to go ahead and do the upgrade. But overall, I think Apple did a good job. And that's about it. Thanks, guys.
That's our boy Shamel.
Yeah.
Well, former artist formerly known as Shamel 2K, but that's Shamar from Atlanta. Love that guy.
Yeah, real quick, want to point out people in the chat room saying that, we have longer battery life, 2 hours.
True.
Right? So that is a very positive thing, too, because our phones die real quick. So...
And that's part of them optimizing the processors and the 6 cores that are handling different tasks in the for the A11 Bionic inside the iPhone 8 and iPhone iPhone 10. I can't.
It's X, man. I think the
10.
people are gonna make it X, and then maybe Apple's gonna embrace that eventually.
Apple's gonna brand it as 10 initially, but yeah, everyone that called in, or when you think of it, do you think of iPhone 10?
No. Even when OS X, we used to always call it OS X, right? It kind of rolls off the tongue better than OS 10.
Yeah, you just see it. It looks like that.
Yeah.
Remember, what is the most recognizable, identifiable letter for branding? It's X. So when you see X, you think X. You don't think 10. You don't think different.
Yeah. You don't see a V1 and then think 6. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's Apple's meta game in this. Think different. iPhone 10. Holy crap.
Okay, next call.
Hello, Brian, Steven. This is Carlos Garcia from La Vernia, Texas. I was calling about the keynote. It was on September 12th. I enjoyed the keynote. I'm so glad they updated the Apple TV because I have a 4th generation Apple TV, but I'm also waiting for Amazon Video app. And
that's coming.
When it comes to the iPhone 10/X, I'm not going to get it because next year they'll have a very similar product. And also, Apple always screws up on first-gen tech, I currently have a 2017 MacBook Pro, but the reason I did not get the 2016 one is because Apple screwed up on a lot of the tech inside. So I like to wait until the next year until it gets better. Okay, thanks. But love the show.
So
thanks, Carlos.
Yeah. He wants to get the X1 or the 11 or whatever it is going to be.
Whatever. I told you. iPhone Dos Equis. I want that to be the next phone. I don't even care. We don't have to stick to any conventional naming systems. Just give me the iPhone Dos Equis.
Yeah.
The most interesting phone in the world.
We have 3 left, and they're shorter. They're a lot shorter. Here we go.
Hey, Beach and Tong, this is Colin calling from Atlanta, Georgia again. Just wanted to let you know I'm watching the Keynote and your live show on CNET. Pretty good stuff, guys. Quick question for you. I want to be the first to ask, what do you think the naming convention is going to be for the next iPhone? We got iPhone 10 right now. What's next? All right. See if you can hear you guys talk real quick.
That was okay. I heard
Anyways,
myself.
good stuff, guys. Keep it up. Bye.
So I got this question right after the keynote. I'm like, I'm not like actively trying to think about what will they name it next, because quite honestly, they can name it whatever they want. But I think it's actually going to be tied, as I thought about it more, I think it's going to be tied to their vision of rolling out this new form factor, the future of the iPhone for the next decade, which is an OLED screen. And it comes down to supply and quantity. They want to have their entire line to be iPhone OLED screens, obviously, but they're tied to Samsung. Again, one of the funniest lines of the actual keynote was the best screen ever like made for an iPhone, which is made by Samsung.
Yeah, that was funny.
They threw that line out there. We're like, oh my gosh.
It's like fit for an iPhone.
yeah.
Finally, a screen fit for an iPhone or
yeah,
something
you're
like
like,
that.
dude, what are you talking about? Samsung's making your screens. But what I'm saying is that they want to get their entire line in OLED screens. I think if they still have an issue with getting supply of the quality screen and number and quantity of screens, the throughput from the production side, if they get enough and they can make their entire line, I don't see why they would jump up to basically make this like a 10S, 11. But if they have to stay back to LCD screens still for the next generation of phone, I think that gives them room to keep it for the 9. But anything that has an OLED screen moving forward will be an iPhone 10 or higher.
Yeah.
Right. It'll align with that next decade of phones. So it'll be a 10. Maybe they'll do a 10S, but they should do Dos Equis. And then they should do Triple X.
Triple XS.
And they should do 4 times. 5-time WCW champion. 5X. You know what
Triple
I mean.
H.
Triple H. So if they don't, we'll see it. We will see. We might see a 8S and 8S Plus. We might but once it's OLED, all of those are going to be X denominations. That's what I think.
In the chat room, I'm seeing iPhone XS, iPhone X Pro, iPhone Pro Super Retina.
we know the nickname of this phone already. The iPhone Expensive. iPhone Expensive. Yeah.
Okay, we got 2 more calls. Let's get through them real quick. This one's real short.
Hello. I'm Michelin from Portland, Pennsylvania, and I had a question for Mr. Tong. Since you host the Apple Byte, I assume you'll bring an apple to the event tomorrow.
I like his little laugh at the end. He's like,
How old are you again? Actually, people ask me that same question, so I shouldn't say
did you bring an apple? No.
I did not bring an apple to the Apple event.
We had donuts.
Hell yeah, we did.
The bomb donuts.
Hell yeah.
Okay, last call. Here we go.
What's going on, Beecham and Brian? So I got a quick question for you guys. The iPhone 8, the iPhone X, is it something that's going to cannibalize the, let's say, iPhone 7S Plus or iPhone 8 Plus or whatever they're going to call it? Is it going to cannibalize their sales? Let me know. Talk to you later. What's going on, Beach?
I don't think it's going to at all, because kind of what we talked about earlier, they want you to buy an iPhone at any price point. It doesn't matter, from $349 all the way up to $999 for a starting price point. Look, if you want to get an iPhone, there's an iPhone for you at every level. And so will it cannibalize their sales? No, people will just go to a different iPhone. It won't prevent them from buying. If it prevented them from buying iPhones, then yeah, sure, but it's not. They're going to buy an iPhone either way.
There's like a market for each price of iPhone, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So you're going to get the cheaper one if you want the cheap one. You're going to get the most expensive one. You want the most expensive one.
And, it's typically, right, we saw or at least according to some analyst beliefs, the larger screen iPhones cannibalizing or removing sales of the iPad mini. I think that's more of just really the fact that the mini has this kind of niche spot. It was good enough. They don't upgrade it enough. And tablets in general just aren't as in high demand or turnover nearly compared to phones. But, when you're saying phone to phone, it's not going to cannibalize anything.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be just fine.
Yep. And that's it, man. That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote, guys and gals. There will be plenty of aftermath to this. I do want to tease. Our brains will be working, but this next, we're going to have a special episode and a special guest on Friday if it all comes together. If it doesn't, Beecham, you can just cut this part out.
Okay.
But you're all, what are you doing? Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, really the scoop machine, is going to be our guest this Friday. We're going to have a one-on-one interview with him. We're just going to talk about all things. Some will be about the keynote, some won't be. We're just going to have a free-flow conversation with him. Really interesting, intriguing person who has been plugged into really every major Apple rumor and story for at least the past 4 or 5 years. Easily breaking news. So he'll be on our show. We can't wait to talk to him. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys can call us again with your thoughts and your feelings about this all. 1-800-616-2638. Name where you're from, get your comments, and until then, we will see you all. Be safe, take care, peace.